There are things that happen that no one else knows about. What happened to us was so weird. Our last 2 years of school, and now we're all in different places. But when I least expect it, it nudges. Taps on my chest from the inside. Brings you back to everyone who went through it. We're bound forever with that.
When I read the scripts for Year Of, I was immediately drawn to the relationships and the camaraderie of just like a group of friends in high school who all come from different walks of life. I think there's a lot of truth to this series.
Often stories about young people are about finding out who you are, sort of coming of age. It's very much about that push and pull and the kind of moving away or coming together of people influenced by the things that happen to them. I've been in a lot of story rooms and I would say that this one, it's a room where people were giving the most of themselves.
Everybody brought their own life experiences to the fore. For me personally, in my final year, we had a tragedy that had this unbelievable galvanising effect on everybody who went through it. There was a feeling that using that hyper-real environment was a great way to explore this motley group of teenagers and the effect on their teachers and parents.
At its core, it's teenagers being teenagers. You have the classic like teen drama elements like going to parties and going to clubs, but you also just have the characters sitting and talking and being people.
It was just the raw, authentic writing style that really appealed to me. Like, it's really reflective of actual teenage experiences, and I find that it's not sugar-coated or done in a way that's hyper-inflated for TV. Like, it's just really raw, grounded, and something that so many can relate to, including myself.
I think that's actually quite rare. It's not just like a teen drama kind of thing, it's nuanced and it's beautiful.
Teenagers are people first. We're people with emotions and heartache and love, and a lot of that stuff is times 10 because you're still trying to find out who you are.
A lot of us have probably experienced when we're younger, not knowing who we are or how to find ourselves or our place in society. I think Maya's very confused for a lot of the series. She's watching her friends throughout the series who all seem to have a thing. Like Priya's very extra and girly and she's got that all figured out. Like Kate's got the art thing and George is George. Like he's got it figured out from day dot. Maya just wants to be able to skip to the part where she knows who she is.
Mo embarks on the series living his best life. Like, he's just going through school, he's really happy, he's getting along great with all his friends, especially Tully, that's his closest mate. And in the first episode, tragically, we lose Tully, and Mo is there to witness that, and that therefore shapes his whole trajectory throughout the season.
You're like emotionally punishing me. I can tell.
Oh my God, Maya. When I speak, I'm a grunk, heartless, spinner, flop, and when I don't speak at all, there's something wrong with me. Can I just go to school in peace without everyone breathing down my neck about stupid, meaningless shit?
Priya's story, she tries to find value in herself through others, and a big part of that for her was Tully, and so when he passed, it was kind of a shock to the system for her because people knew her as Tully's girl, and now that he's gone, she's trying to find another identity.
George feels like a very new character in media, I think. We see a lot of queer characters today, but I think he represents something new, as in that idea that he's both, but he's also neither. Like, he knows how to speak to women, but he also is very malleable to masculinity. He puts on this persona and he acts like a teenager trying to be an adult. It's said later in the series by a couple of different characters that Tully saw you for the person that you were, not the person that you were trying to be. And I think George felt like the one person that truly did see him is now gone. And that's really hard at 17.
I think Gus's story is he's never really seen something like that has happened to him before, and he's just holding all of his bad stuff inside, and then he just fakes a smile on the outside. Also with him and Kate, I don't think he's liked a girl before, so it's like, oh, Kate has sparks, you know? My lady.
Shouldn't you be fucking around in class somewhere?
Guys, she's seen me in class.
Kate and Gus are just kind of really adorable. Like, Gus has had a really tough life and he has had to basically bring himself up similarly to Kate, but just in very different ways. Their attraction is honestly, it's very natural and it feels obvious. He brings just a lot of rawness and truth to her. Kate is somewhat of a lost soul. She's trying to navigate how to separate herself from her family and her father's kind of glamour and his whole kind of thing.
Sorry, are you embarrassed by success?
No.
We really did talk a lot in the story room about how oftentimes adults will act like kids and kids will act like adults. We definitely see that in Year Of.
The adults, well, they're half the story. We've got a really stellar cast in all of those roles. We could have easily made 10 episodes just focusing on their lives.
Dan had this story that was quite personal to him. To play a husband who's going through the circumstances that my character is was appealing because I've got children of a similar age. The fear of your children's mortality, having to put yourself in a position to understand what that might feel like.
A big part of my process in the world building was really nutting out who these characters are at a very granular, almost scientific level. We're really lucky on this series that we get to see most of our cast's teenage bedrooms, and those spaces have been an absolute joy to be able to dress. We see Kate's world, which is full of her beautiful artwork. Maya, her world is hectic, as is her mind, as is her room. And Priya, our gorgeous boho princess, she's all about mood lighting. Gus's room, it's a temporary space. He shares a flat with his nan and his brother, so it's a little bit more pared back, but it's still a space that houses his urbex treasures. And then of course we've got Tully's space, and it's a beautiful, really somber moment in the series when we see Tully's room. It's a room full of memories and a room that offers a lot of healing for our cast.
As a makeup artist and creating a character, I always want the actor to be part of building that together. It's got to look like they've done it themselves.
Certainly as a writer, you have this relationship with these imaginary characters that you're writing, and then because I was also directing, you're also then building this character in real life. For me, every day as a director, I would turn up thinking, I know I'm going to be surprised by what they give me, because some of them, it was their first show or their first project. It would be so amazing to watch them just drop in and really connect with each other and just give some really beautiful performances.
I don't think I've gotten this close to a group of people this fast in my life. I always wished I got to have an experience like General Radcliffe and stuff like that in Harry Potter, and having that where you just like you're all at such an exciting time in your life, and this camaraderie of being in a group. And ever since the first day of rehearsals, we haven't wanted to be apart.
We are really lucky that we had the 2-week rehearsal. We all became super close because we were together all the time.
See some young actors starting out, that's always really, really exciting to watch. They don't care if the camera's on them or the camera's not on them, they give it all, and I remember being like that. Yeah, they just bring a level of spontaneity that we don't have as we get older, that we lose.
One of the great joys is watching their camaraderie, forging these great friendships, and seeing that infuse their characters, and their characters' relationships is magical.
We're all quite young, and I think that's why it feels so true to us, because it's not adults playing how they think teenagers are. It's teenagers being what it is to be a teenager.
To be together and enjoying this journey at the same time, it's very special. I'll never forget this friend group. The party scene was really fun. That was the first time we were all together. To be able to party and dance together, that was really exciting. And
that was 100% my favourite scene to shoot. Jumping over the fence on the bin and crawling through that tiny, tiny window into Brendan's room.
Oh! Sorry!
Tully's funeral was a really beautiful day. Tharanya was doing a take. When she's doing her speech, she starts to cry, and then we all just started crying because it was just so beautiful to watch.
Listening to her words and listening to the way that she was saying it, like I genuinely started crying. Like not as Jaws, like as Samuel, like I genuinely started crying, and it really makes you think about the kind of caliber of talent that's here.
That was the moment where I kind of went, oh, like the show's like come together in that moment, in that scene. And it really gave me a sense of what the show's gonna be and like the impact it'll have.
I think it's a really beautiful story of a group of people finding the way through losing someone by connecting with each other.
There's no linear journey with grief. It's amorphous and it changes every day. I love the way that this show investigates that. One moment you can be stumbling along this crazy path we call life and just get knocked sideways. And then how do we find our way back onto that path?
I don't really believe there are many adults walking around who aren't dealing with life in the same way they did when they were teens. I feel like this idea that there's a coming of age that stops when you're 20, I just don't think that's true. We're always on that search for like, who am I now?
I reckon most of it will hit your heart. Like when you watch it, you'll feel like, oh wow. It's just what happens in high school. It's a lot of love, and then you start having crushes with your best friend, and yeah, it's just cute, I reckon.
If I'm one of those people that peaks at high school, I don't even care right now. Oh my God.